Toradora gave me emotional damage, but in the best possible way. Yes, it's the 15-year anniversary of Toradora. On October the 2nd, 2008, we first met Taiga and Ryuji, and they'd both go on to star in a staple anime of its time. Now, Toradora is a standout anime. Heck, it must have done something right if idiot YouTubers like me are still making videos on it. And there are so many school-based rom-coms out there, so what made this one stand out? Stick around in this video and I'll tell you why I think Toradora became a classic through the use of emotion. The characters in Toradora are some of the most lovable and memorable characters you will see. One minute you'll be smiling along with them, and the next you'll be crying, feeling the same pain as they do. And with a diverse set of personalities along with a coming of age story, each character gets their own satisfying arc apart from Kitamura. Fuck Kitamura, but more on him later. Let's begin with Ryuji. Ryuji is a normal Japanese high school kid, apart from the fact he has unfortunately inherited some rather scary eyes which cause people to think that he's a delinquent. However, his personality is far from being a delinquent. Instead, he has a responsible, kind and caring soul, especially for a 17-year-old boy. But as a result of people's judgments of him, he has very few friends. His one and only friend is Kitamura. But he does manage to forge a sort of friendship with the so-called palm-top tiger, Taiga Isaka, when he accidentally discovers that she's in love with Kitamura. But then he lets slip that he's in love with Taiga's best friend, Minori Kushieda, so they both agree to help each other go out with their friends. What I like about Ryuji is over the course of the series, he proves people wrong bit by bit. In the beginning, his friendship with Taiga seems very one-sided. He helps her out by feeding her and cleaning her apartment while she continues to call him a dog. However, it's not strictly one-sided. You see, just by being friends with her, it's helped Ryuji's image in class. I mean, think about it, if somebody sat in class alone, you might hesitate to approach them because there must be a reason why they're alone and nobody wants to talk to them. But if you see somebody interacting with other people, you're more likely to think they're a bit more sociable and likeable, and so you're more likely to become friends with them. So because Taiga became friends with him, he also became friends with Minori and Ami and hung out and studied with other classmates. So his relationship with Taiga helped improve everybody wrong about his image, which is pretty wholesome. Moving on to Taiga. Taiga in my eyes is the original tsundere. When somebody talks about the tsundere personality type, my first thought goes to Taiga. The tsundere personality type is so common these days, you'll see it in so many animes, but Taiga is the far superior tsundere. She's like the overlord of all the tsunderes, so stick around to find out why. What separates Taiga from other tsunderes is that she isn't just tsundere for the sake of chucking the personality type into the show. She has a proper background that tells us why she is the way she is. Taiga's parents went through a divorce leading to her living with her dad. However, her dad had this new wife and Taiga couldn't get along with her, so she moved out, meaning her dad had chosen this new wife over her. Taiga felt like she couldn't move in with her mother because her mother had a new child to focus on now. So she was left pretty hurt and wounded from the whole ordeal, going from a stable family with two loving parents to being an outcast and left behind by them in favour of their new lives. So her tsundere-ness was her protection barrier in a way. She had to protect herself from other people because they could risk hurting her again and she probably wouldn't be able to take it. And that's why her relationship with Ryuji progresses slowly over the course of the series and she becomes less tsundere towards the end, because Ryuji has to sort of prove himself. He has to prove that he has the right intentions with her and that he's not going to hurt her and let her down like her parents did. Think of it like a stray cat. When you meet a stray cat, the cat has its guard up and it might hiss at you. But what you do is you approach it slowly and slowly, you bend down to get onto its level, and then eventually you reach out your hand to show the cats that you're not a threat to them, and eventually they might bring their guard down a bit and become more friendly towards you, and that sums up Taiga's character arc pretty well. But moving on from Taiga, we have Minori Kushieda. Minori is like Yotsuba if you gave her 5 energy drinks. But Minori is just, well, Minori, but that's the biggest compliment I could give her. She might have a certain personality type, but she has her own quirks that make a character feel unique and you just never quite know what you're going to get from her next. Minori is the character that adds mystery to the show. She's the love interest of Ryuji, but does so much more for the show than simply sit there as the love rival. She is shown to be, on the surface at least, a busybody airhead who is sporty and has this endless energy for life, but as the show goes on, we peel back her layers like an onion. In small subtle points in episodes, she shows the ability to see and perceive situations differently from other people. For example, she easily sees that Ryuji is not how his looks perceive him to be. She also sees beyond Armi's attempts to look innocent when everybody else believes her, and then she also sees early on what's going on between Taiga and Ryuji even before they do. But this is where the mystery lies. If her perception of things around her is so good, you wonder whilst watching whether she's figured out that Ryuji actually likes her, and then that leads you to wonder what her feelings are for him. But for most of the show she acts oblivious. She acts like she has no idea about Ryuji's feelings, and we don't fully know until late on that she actually reciprocates his feelings. But ultimately you're left feeling bad for her. She liked Ryuji and he liked her, but she knew he was better off with Tiger, and she also didn't want to steal her best friend's man. I think Minori is actually the best and most complex character in the show. I think I'll make a whole video on her character, so subscribe to the channel for that. But moving on to Ami Kawashima, Ami is basically the viewer. Like the viewer, she sees everything that's going on as if she's a fly on the wall. She tries to help Ryuji figure out that it's Tiger that he's really interested in. She also sees the fact that Minori likes Ryuji and tries to encourage her to reveal her true feelings. And she also sees that Ryuji and Minori are more like parents or carers to Tiger rather than friends, and she describes this relationship as unnatural. Unfortunately for Ami, she doesn't really get her own happy ending. She tries to guide everybody else along the correct path that leads to happiness, but her own path is somewhat sacrificed. We know of course that she liked Ryuji. It began with some teasing, but it was soon clear that there were some real feelings behind the teasing. But as soon as she learns of the love triangle going on between Ryuji, Tiger and Minori, she's like, nope, not getting involved in that shit show, and decides to guide the others along instead of going for her own happiness with Ryuji. And finally we have Kitamura. There's not really too much to say about him. He plays his role within the group and he has his own mini arc where he likes the president, but she rejects him because she's moving to America. And for some reason, because he got rejected, he decides to rebel by dyeing his hair and running away. Yeah, I didn't really get this either. I don't know why he did these things, but at the end of the series he reveals that he's also going to America to study, and so he has the chance to pursue the president over there as well. And that's really about it for him, apart from the fact he likes to strip at random intervals. Again, I don't know why, but fair play. The point is with these characters, each and every one of them goes well beyond the character stereotype. They all play an intricate role within the story, and you find yourself rooting for all of them to have a happy ending. Not in a weird way though. But the biggest reason this anime gave me emotional damage is this: moments. In life, we mainly remember moments. You probably don't remember everything you've done in a day. If I asked you to recall exactly what you did 10 weeks ago to the day, you probably couldn't recall everything you did. But you can probably recall the moment you started going out with your partner. You can probably recall the moment on holiday when you had a lot of fun. And you can probably even recall the moment you found out a loved one has passed away. But you can recall these moments because humans remembered the emotion we felt at the time above anything else. In these examples, you remember the happiness, joy, and sorrow. Have you ever seen an anime where it's so average that you've literally forgotten it the next day? Like, you know the outline of the plot and maybe how it ends, but you just can't recall anything specific that actually happened in 11 out of the 12 episodes. Well, that's probably because the series lacks moments, or it has moments that are just a bit forced and lack the build-up and emotion behind them. But when I think back to significant moments in Toradora, they all have significant emotion behind them. Like when Ryuji almost drowns and Tiger screams, "Ryuji is mine!" The voice acting still sends a shiver down my spine, although not my voice acting. But what made it significant was the emotion in that moment, and the moment's role within the story. Up until this point, Tiger and Ryuji were hanging out together, but you're not quite sure what kind of relationship will blossom from this. But this moment gives a significant hint towards Tiger having feelings for him, and not only that, but it told the other characters like Minori and Ami that they were meant for each other despite their own feelings. Another standout moment, and I think you know what's coming here, is episode 19 when Tiger is on the street after the Christmas party and she cries out for Ryuji after realising her feelings for him. Actually, there's quite a lot of crying moments. I just realised there are happy moments too to balance it out. I just seem to pick up on the sad moments. But it was significant not just because of the crying, but because we had 19 episodes of ups and downs and time with each of these lovable characters, and it was confirmation that Tiger did in fact love Ryuji. And it sticks in your mind. That's one of the first moments I think of when I am asked to recall a moment within Toradora. And there are plenty of other moments I could recall, but I won't bore you any further. So to sum up this video, Toradora is an emotional roller coaster of just well written fucking awesomeness. Thank you.